Welcome to the Missing Kei, the podcast where I, Edie Woelfle, fractional CTO, founder of Keyboarder, and self-proclaimed tech janitor turns startup tech chaos into scale-ready clarity. In today's episode, we're diving into the world of building apps and how to prioritize your features to ensure you don't run out of money before you even launch. Let's kick this off with the basics. What's the difference between must-haves and nice-to-haves? Picture your app as a sandwich. The must-haves are your bread and fillings, the stuff that actually makes it a sandwich. Without them, you've just got, plate decorations. These are the features your product absolutely needs to work and solve your user's main problem. For the nice-to-haves, think of them as the fancy condiments that make your sandwich more fun or easier to eat but aren't necessary for solving your hunger. All right, now that we've got that sorted, how do you figure out your must-haves? First up, what big problem does your app actually fix? Write this down in one simple sentence. This is called your core problem statement. For example, my app helps dog owners find last-minute pet sitters in their neighborhood. Every must-have feature should directly help solve this core problem. Then, and only then, create your MVP, your minimum viable product. This should only include must-have features. It's the simplest version of your product that actually works. And finally, test with real trusted users and your QA team. Mima may or may not count. Once you've built only the must-haves, get it into the hands of real and paying people. Include analytics from day one so you can see how people actually use your app. Now, let's talk about those nice-to-haves that seem so enticing, but can really wait until after your first launch. One founder spent a ridiculous $80,000 building a super cool AI chat sign-up process, and they didn't even start on their core features yet. A simple form works fine for version 1. Another one is advanced search filters. Just start with basic search. Add fancy filters later when you know which ones users actually want. And finally, multiple payment options. Start with one reliable payment method. Add more when you're actually making some dough, literally. Sometimes those nice-to-haves can actually turn into must-haves. If your app is for doctors, strong privacy features aren't just nice, they're legally required. And if your users are older adults, easier onboarding might be a must-have. So keep this in mind when prioritizing features. Here's a real pitfall: getting distracted by shiny objects. Every time you think of adding a feature, ask yourself these 3 questions. Does this directly solve our core problem? Can we launch successfully without it? Will adding this delay our launch by more than 2 weeks? If it doesn't solve your core problem and will delay your launch, it can wait. Simple as that. Your secret weapon in all of this? A proper roadmap. Create a clear roadmap that separates features into must-haves for initial launch, nice-to-haves for version 2, and future ideas for later versions. Pro tip: use a tool like Canny to create a public roadmap that lets users vote on which features they want most. This takes the guesswork out of what to build next. Building a tech product is like making a sandwich. You need the bread and fillings first before worrying about fancy condiments. Start simple, get real feedback, then add the extras that users actually want. Stay tuned for next week's episode, where we'll dive into defining your core problem statement, the single sentence that should guide all your product decisions. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Thanks for tuning in to the Missing Kei. I'm Edie Woelfle, and I hope today's episode has given you some clarity on building the essentials for your app. Don't forget to check the show notes for any links or articles mentioned in today's episode. Until next time.